All right, Ravens flock, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. So we are back at it once again. The Ravens returned to practice today. They were off yesterday because obviously they played on Thursday for that first preseason game that they won 24-16. So obviously they're off Friday. They returned to practice today. And we are going to discuss what happened at practice today. As usual, I've got my notes. I try to get as much as possible based off of the reports. Obviously, I'm not out there, so I don't know everything that's happening, but whatever the reports we get, I try to bring this here as much as possible to make sure you guys know of it as well. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. So Ravens once again went out there today and practiced. They were actually in pads today, so it was a practice with the pads on. Very interesting. That definitely alludes to them being a lot more physical. They're trying to ramp things up a little bit more. Like to see that. Today's practice was up and down. It was an up and down practice for both sides. Both sides had some great plays. Both sides had some bad moments. Overall, it was a practice that was probably won by the defense because they probably made a little bit more plays than the offense, but it was more so of an up and down day for both sides. So it's just one of those type of practices that kind of went chaotic for the most part. It is what it is. You're going to have some of these tough practices, and it's just going to be a day where one side's making a bunch of plays, and then all of a sudden the next side starts making those plays, and it's a back and forth affair. That was kind of what today was like. So let's get into a few of the things we have to talk about here. Number one, before we even discuss anything else, penalties. Penalties, penalties, penalties. It's still an issue. It's still an issue. And today might have been the worst. Penalties today was a major problem. Multiple false start penalties. It got so bad that John Harbaugh got pissed off and dismissed the offensive line. Now, this is the second team offensive line. They were out there during that time for the drill. So they were the ones that were, well, it was both the first and the second. The offensive line as a whole today was committing penalties throughout. But I guess the second team had done it one too many times. It pissed John Harbaugh off. He dismissed the entire second team offensive line and said, bring in a new set of guys and we can start this up. So yeah, it's a very poor day for the offensive line. These penalties are an issue. They've got to get it together. I don't know what it's going to take for this offensive line to get it together, but they've got to get it together. The season starts in a month. You will be in Buffalo for Sunday Night Football, and this is something that is going to harm you right off the bat. This is one of the teams that was the highest penalized team in the National Football League last year. And here we are again. We were going through training camp. We've already had that first preseason game. We've got 2 more preseason games left. Then you have that week of nothing, and then you're playing on Sunday Night Football. So you've got less than a month at this point. You've got about a month, maybe a little bit less than that. So the time to get this done is now, and the penalties keep piling up. And I don't know what it's going to take for these guys to stop committing these penalties, but something's got to change. Something's got to change. We're past the first preseason game. You should not be having so many penalties that John Harbaugh dismisses the offensive line from the practice, not from the practice, but from the drill. It should not be that bad. This is a serious concern, and unless they get this figured out, it's going to be more of the same this upcoming season. The Ravens will continue to be one of the most penalized teams in the National Football League. It's not going to change. If these penalties, if this whole situation does not get rectified here in training camp, they're going to commit a bunch of penalties in the regular season. That's just how it's going to be. It is what it is at that point, but nothing much you can do here. Let's speak about the offense for the most part. Pretty up and down day for Lamar Jackson and Rashad Bateman. Good moments, bad moments. Rashad did have a good couple of catches, but this was just a day where he was just off. Like, he was dropping passes left and right. He couldn't catch consistently. It was just a bad day. Rashad Bateman just couldn't catch the ball at practice today. He had a lot of drops. Not a good thing to see. As for Lamar, up and down day because he made some plays. He had a touchdown to Zay Flowers in the red zone. It was a situation where they rolled him to the right and Lamar found him at the back of the end zone. And he also had a touchdown to Charlie Kolar, who was also at the back of the end zone. It was a high throw and Charlie Kolar reached up with one arm and grabbed it for the touchdown. So that's good on that. But other than that, Lamar pretty much had one of those type of days where it's just nothing's really going well. Just a bunch of throws that he probably wants to have back. And then he had 2 interceptions, which were great defensive plays, but still, well, the first one was a good play. The first interception was a good play by the defender. The second interception was a bad throw that the defender was able to find as well. So we'll talk about the 2 individuals that did pick him off. That's for the defensive side. But yeah, Lamar Jackson, 2 interceptions at practice today. Rashad Bateman couldn't catch a cold. Zay Flowers making plays, Charlie Kolar making plays. Both of those guys were nice. Mark Andrews, he had a catch that ended up it was like a catch, but would have actually counted as a fumble. But obviously in practice they're only doing like 2-hand touch, so it doesn't officially count. But he ended up getting stripped on the catch, and that was not a good thing to see there. So yeah, it was pretty mixed day. I'm not gonna lie, both sides were making plays, but it was just one of those weird days in practice. So yeah, Zay Flowers was good, Charlie Kolar was good, D-Hop was great. D-Hop was probably the highlight of the offense today. He was very busy, he was very active in practice. He made a lot of great catches, a lot of nice catches, and D-Hop's just doing what you expect D-Hop to do. So he Zay Flowers and Charlie Kolar were the highlights of the Ravens offense today. But in terms of Lamar and Bateman, not the best practice for them. They definitely want a lot of those plays back. But, it is what it is. You're going to get practices like this. Moving on to the defense. We had some turnovers like we talked about and some plays that were being made. Oh, one last thing. Cooper Rush had a good day of practice. He made some really nice throws. Good for him. We need to see a little bit more consistency from him. Didn't like what I saw from him in the first preseason game, but I don't think he did much. I mean, Devin Leary was out there a lot more than Cooper Rush, so it's not much I can really assess about what I saw from Cooper Rush. It wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad as Leary. Leary played pretty much majority of the game, and he was awful. I don't know how he's going to remain on this roster. There's no way he makes the 53-man squad. He's got to go. But Cooper Rush didn't look great in that first preseason game, but he didn't play that much. So you hope he continues to stack more of these good reps in practice, and we'll see what he does next week in the second preseason game. So yeah, that's it for the offense. Defensively, there were a few plays that were made. I talked about the play on Mark Andrews where he got stripped. Or it was a situation where it would have counted as a strip and a turnover, but obviously they're practicing with 2-hand touches. They're not tackling out there. So yeah, it was a situation where Mark Andrews caught the ball, and it was Bo Braid. So Bo Braid made the play defensively, knocked the ball out of Mark Andrews' hands. It would have counted as a fumble, but obviously at that point, once he had already made contact with him, the play ends right there. But that, in a game situation, that counts as a fumble and a turnover right there. So good on him. He was also active making plays as well. That was great. Two other people that were active. One was Chidobe Awuzie. He was very active today. He had an interception off of Lamar Jackson. It wasn't a great throw. It was also in the back of the end zone, and he was able to just locate that and get the pick there. So yeah, Awuzie was very active. I'm really liking some of the things I've been hearing about Awuzie. We know what he's capable of when he is on the field. Okay, we've seen that throughout his career. When he's on the field, he is a very productive guy. It's just his injury history has been an aspect here. We saw what he did in Cincinnati. He's a great corner. It's just he has to stay healthy. So it's great to see he's been active in some of these practices. The other person that was active in this practice today was Nate Wiggins. Nate Wiggins actually kind of had an up and down day. He was actually getting beat on a good chunk of plays, but he also had the interception. So he had the first interception off of Lamar Jackson. That was also in the back of the end zone too. So yeah, Nate Wiggins, kind of an up and down day for him, giving up some catches, but also getting the interception off of Lamar Jackson. So that's good to see. Nate Wiggins has had a pretty interesting training camp. He's had days where he's been fantastic and stopped everything, and then he's had days where he's just getting beat by the receivers. So we're kind of just assessing the overall aspect and saying, yeah, he's having a pretty good camp, but there's some plays where he's getting beat, and there's some plays where he's just stepping in and making plays and making stops and getting picks. So yeah, it's been kind of a up and down practice for him today, and throughout training camp it's been mostly good, but there's been some moments where it's been very low for him. But yeah, that pretty much ends practice here. The Ravens actually made a signing. They signed running back Myles Gaskin. So they signed running back Myles Gaskin specifically because they need backs for the preseason. Here's the thing. We had gotten we got that report today. Keaton Mitchell's a little bit banged up. So since Keaton Mitchell's a little bit banged up, there's a good chance he may not play in that other preseason game. Now, again, we'll see what happens between now and the second preseason game. He could be good to go by then, but who knows? You can't really fully trust it. Not to mention we're in camp right now and you got guys that are banged up. Both Keaton Mitchell and Rashid Ali are banged up. So those are the guys that are going to be going out there for the most part and running the ball. Now, of course, you already have the Ernest Johnson. So it's not like you have no backs available, but you're not going to just play Johnson for the entire game. If Keaton Mitchell is banged up, they're not going to put him out there at all. So I think we may not be seeing much of Keaton Mitchell for the preseason moving for the rest of the we're not going to see him moving forward. I don't think we're going to see much of him. He may get some reps. I don't know. I don't know what the game plan is. Are the starters going to play? We don't fully know. But yeah, I don't expect to see much of Keaton Mitchell in the other 2 preseason games. And then Rashid Ali, he got banged up. I don't know how severe that is, so I don't know how much of him we're going to see in the preseason. So yeah, it can't just be Johnson out there running the ball. So they had to go get another guy. That's why they got Gaskins. And if it comes down to them using both Johnson and Gaskin out there as the 2 backs for the preseason games, so be it. So yeah, they signed him, and we just go from there. That's pretty much all I have to say about today's practice. There will be a practice tomorrow, and we'll be here to cover it as well. So yeah, things are kind of ramping up. Things are getting interesting in practice, and we're getting closer and closer to the regular season, guys. So let's just see how this is going to go down. With that being said, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Be sure to stay safe, and peace out.